Hello and welcome to Jamie's Motion Graphics episode 19. Today we are making this. All of this has been made in After Effects and all of this has been made from scratch. I will explain to you step by step how you can make it yourself. Okay, here we are in After Effects. We already have a composition open. It is 720 by 720, and that is because, well, we need to have something that is, well, round normally, because, well, radars are round. Well, radar displays, I mean. So we're going to start off with a new layer. And it is going to be a normal solid, and we're going to make it gray because we're going to color it in later. And well, we're going to take the same gray color for all of our, well, building blocks, and then we'll color them in one go so that they're all the same color, and we can change the color in, well, one click. So first of all, we're going to start with a mask. With the layer selected, go to your ellipse tool here. Just double click it, and there's your mask. The mask will be perfectly round because it fills the entire screen, and the comp is exactly, well, square. So yeah, easy enough. Anyway, we're going to duplicate this mask. So stand on it, Control D, or go to Edit, Duplicate. Here it is, and it says Control D. So we're going to set this second mask to subtract, and as you can see, nothing remaining. So now we're going to go into the mask, well, properties, I guess, and we're going to set this to -5. That is because we want 5 pixels on our width. If you want less, so let's say we want 2, because you think, well, the line is a little bit too thick. Well, you can do that. Just set it to 2. Let's make 2. Anyway, once you've done that, you pick up both of the masks, you duplicate them, and I like to put them together. You don't have to. You can also change the color, by the way, if you like to do so. And that way you can keep them together because it's every time an additive mask and then a subtractive mask. So we're going to set a new expansion for this one. So let's say this one is -100. That would make this one -102. And there you go. You have your second thingy up. And yeah, if you click on it, you can see that all of the masks will still be equally large, but, well, the rings will not be. And that is because we use the expansion just to make a quick scale out of them. Once again, take 2 masks, Control D for duplicate, and drag them to the bottom. And then, well, we're going to change the color once again. These are going to be green, just for your convenience. I don't really care, to be honest. We're once again going to go to the mask expansion, -200 this time, and this one is going to be -202. And now you can see another ring appears. So once again, just selecting both of them with the Shift key, holding the Shift key. I think the Control works as well. Yeah, it does. So just Control D, duplicate them. I don't know what I did here, but I did something. Oh, whatever. We're going to go to 7 and 8 and just drag them to the bottom, set their color. And once we've done that, we are, of course, going to go into the expansion, make it -300, and make the other -302. Yeah, so a lot of repetition here in the beginning, but you can see how that works. You can shut off the masks if that would actually still be there. I guess that's what I changed. Yeah, I just made a new composition, copied the layer, and then everything was fine again. Anyway, you can shut off the masks. So if you have one of the masks selected, or all of them if you select the layer, you can shut it off by hitting this button. And since we don't need the mask anymore, well, we haven't needed it at all. Yeah, basically, there you go. So after this, we want to have some lines in there just to indicate something. I don't really know why they're there. I guess they indicate degrees or something like that. So we're going to do that with a shape layer because it's just the simplest. I really, really hate shape layers. So yeah, you have to know that. Then it is probably the best thing to go, the best way to go. Yeah, select your pen tool. I kind of forgot about that. And just click once here and once somewhere near the middle. Let's draw it all the way in the middle. And then, yeah, just change the stroke to have the same color as our previous layer. So just grab that and grab the gray solid here. And then, yeah, we're going to shut off the fill because we don't need fill. And we're going to go into the content here. Oh, we don't actually need to go any further. Just hit the add button and add the repeater. So the repeater is kind of a useful tool every now and then. I wish you could do this with normal layers as well, but unfortunately you have to do that by hand. So we're going to go into transform repeater, and then we're going to set the position to 0. That means that everything is now on the same thing. And then we're going to put the rotation to 30, which means there's 30 degrees between each of them. And we're going to make 11 copies. We're going to make 12 copies. So there you go, 12 copies means that we have filled the entire thing. The width, you can actually set that somewhere as well, here in the shape. Assuming the stroke should be the same, so stroke width is going to be 2, and then we have our thingy here. That's really all we need to do with the shape layer. So yeah, just get out of it, and there you have your well, basic setup. Obviously, your basic setup is just a background for the real effect, and we're going to actually adjust all of the colors now. So let's go to layer, make an adjustment layer, and we're going to put curves on it. So that's an effect that will color our, well, underlying layers, which are both of these, and as I said, they will be colored at the same time. So in my normal way, I would make this this green, but now we're going to make it blue just for the fun of it. Maybe, yeah, let's put the red out and then fix the green afterwards. I don't know what color blue I want. I actually don't want this one. I want a little bit of green mixed in there, I guess. Yeah, like this. Okay, yeah, once you're done that, you've done that, you can actually set the opacity if you want. And you can do that in several ways. You can just go here to T for opacity and then turn it down to, like, I don't know, 50%, something like that. And it would look okay-ish. You can also just say, I want this to be kept at 100%. And I'm just going to add a new, new solid, which is going to be black. And it's going to just be one layer where I change the opacity, and I'm going to set that to, well, not 20, but 50. It's the exact same effect because we have a black background, and therefore you can do both. The advantage of this being that, oh, you can actually put that under it, I guess. Yeah, it will change the color a little bit, but yeah, you can put it in one layer now, so you only have to change this one opacity to change the effect, and that is just so much easier than changing, well, both of them. So anyway, we're going to set it to here. It's not really important for now. What is important is the next part. The next part is we're going to put something on there. So let's say we want, I don't really know what we want to detect, but we're going to detect spacecrafts or something like that, because, well, it's an alien thing, right? So we're going to pick up a color, as long as it's gray. We can actually take the same color that we had before. Doesn't really matter, it's just gray because we can then color it afterwards. If you make it black or white, it's harder to color it naturally. Anyway, we're going to pre-compose this, move all attributes, and just open it by double-clicking on it. You can also mark the box that says open. And now we have this one. It's a blank comp, so there's nothing in it. And we're going to draw a spacecraft or whatever you want. You can do ships. You can do, I don't know. I don't even know what you want. But we're going to make a spaceship. So let's make it like this, and then maybe a little bit like this. Now it has. It's starting to become more of a plane, but hey, whatever. So now let's try to duplicate what we drew there, just a little bit. I guess it looks somewhat like a spacecraft. Yeah, that's just wrong. And let's put a little bit of this on the tip. So this is our spacecraft. I'm sure you can draw something better. This was just obviously whatever. It doesn't really matter. The only thing we need to really change is the anchor point here, because we want the anchor point to be in the middle, and I don't know where it actually is. Oh, there you go. There it is. And we're going to change the anchor point to be in the middle. I don't know why it's not updating live. This is really a lot harder than it needs to be. So as long as it's somewhere near this, it makes the scaling a little bit easier. That's all that there is to it. And yeah, don't put it off to the side like over here, because then the positioning will be wrong as well. But for the rest, it doesn't really matter. This point is going to be used in the calculation that's going to come. So anyhow, we're going to go to the project and we're going to change this and rename it to Spaceship 1. Yeah, you can do multiples, that's why I called it 1. And we're going to have this in the comp immediately. So hit the S for scale, because obviously it's way too big to be in our composition here. So we're going to put it to something like 10%. Yeah, so it's tiny because space is huge, and well, we need to have a decent radar range. So you can actually calculate the radar range from here, and yeah, that's just it. So yeah, we can color it. We can just drop the curves that we already have on top of it, and we can say if it shows up on radar, it has to be red because it's an alien. Well, it's not an alien, it's an enemy. So you can of course distinguish between your allies and your enemies this way. You can just make like red for enemies and green for allies, or blue for allies, or whatever color scheme that you want. If you want a little more, well, intricacy, you can of course feather out the mask. So just go here, hit F, or just go to mask feather and just feather it out like a few pixels, I don't know, 10, I don't know, 20 maybe. So it becomes a little bit vague, but on the thing here it becomes, or it'll be fine. It's just that it looks a little bit less like you put it on there. Like the radar will be super sharp, and the spaceship will be a little bit blurred. You can of course also put like a fast blur on it or something like that, but we're not going to do anything fancy. Okay, all we need now is a radar sweep, which is the thing that actually sweeps over it. So just go create a new solid and just make it the same gray. It doesn't really matter. As I said, we're going to color it in later, like, well, we've done like 4 times already. We're going to go into radial wipe. There it is. We're going to put that on there. So radial wipe is this. It will over time. Oh, let's do it like this. Then it actually does it correctly, I'm assuming. No. So it will over time be able to wipe your screen. I don't know why it's not updating live. That's something really weird. I will have to fix that at some point. Anyway, we're going to set it to let's say 90%. So this is now our radar sweep. Obviously, we still have to fix this because, well, it falls outside of the radar. But that is really easy. Just select your layer, double-click the ellipse tool, and voila, it is done. So That is because I made a mask that is exactly the size of our radar, because we used the same technique to make the radar. And so it cuts off right where the radar ends. And yeah, now we can use this, the start angle, to actually make it sweep. And well, we'll see that in a moment. I really don't know why it's not updating live here. It's pretty annoying though. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set an expression for the angle. So, or yeah, for the start angle. And the start angle is going to start at 40 degrees, because if it starts at 40 degrees, I'll show you, it's right over there. So if we feather it out a little bit, we can make it 35. Yeah, it would be perfect. Whatever. You can do whatever you want. You can also start it at another angle, of course, but here comes the important part. So the total circle is 360 degrees. Actually, this should be 36. So the total circle is 360 degrees. And if you want to rotate that in a number of seconds, we can calculate how much we need to do every second. Because we're going to have time in there, and time is measured in seconds, not in frames, but in seconds. Which means that if I put in 6 times time, it will rotate in around in 6 seconds. If I rotate, oh sorry, 6t of course. If I want to rotate in 1 second, I put 360. If I want to rotate in 2 seconds, 180. But we're going to take 60. 6 seconds is the normal time for a live radar on the ground here for us. So that would make sense to pick that. So it's 36. That means that this is exactly lined up, because, well, we have 90%, which means 10%, blah, 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 blah. Or, well, 10% of 360 degrees, which is 36 degrees. And then 60 times time means that now it looks like this if we move it. It will rotate. This is not real time, by the way. This is 12 frames per second, whereas normal would be 30, of course. So it will rotate one circle in 6 seconds. If you're saying, well, that's too slow for me, then just change it. This is 3 seconds, and that would work as well, depending on what you're trying to make. If you're trying to make a spaceship like we are doing, you have to assume they have better technology than we do, so you're going to have to adjust that. So let's take 180. We have a 2-second wipe, and that would make sense. So now the important part, because, well, you can of course make this and just rotate it around, and every time it hits the spaceship you're going to make it visible. That is not what we want. We want that to be automatic, and that if we change a value, it automatically changes it. So first of all, let's make our spaceship move, because without the move it's kind of easy to do. Like, then you can do it by hand, but I want to demonstrate that you can actually do it without doing it by hand. So let's go to 30 seconds and move the spaceship a little bit. Not too much. I mean, it is a big space, so let's move it up. No, up the other way. So yeah, instead of just doing everything by hand, as I said, we're going to do it with an expression. And we're going to hit T here for the opacity. Alt-click on the stopwatch, and there you have your expression. I'm not going to type it out. I already did this. As you can see, I have a ship radar here. It is all made, and we're going to just copy the expression from here. I will leave it in the description, so you can copy paste it for yourself, because it is quite a lot of work to make this expression work. And once you have it, it should work perfectly. The problem is, of course, I have some values in there that aren't the same name. So I'm going to have to change those first, and I will be right back. Okay, so we're back. I also fixed the problem of not auto-updating my screen, as you can see. It was this button, Live Updates. I kind of messed it up when I was doing something with hotkeys, and anyway. Let's see what's happening here. So, as you can see, the spaceship is invisible, but once the ray hits it, it will become visible. And then once the ray passes out of it, it will become less visible. So there's also a little bit of a ramp here. So it actually starts by by becoming a little more visible. So turning up the opacity slowly and then eventually being at full and then going down again. And yeah, it's a very easy expression. It's just that because there are a lot of bugs, as well as just strange choices in the design of this program that make this so hard. For example, the XY doesn't start in the bottom left, it starts in the top left, which means you have to reverse the Y but not the X. And then the angle starts at the top and not at the right side, which is normal convention. And then the angle rotates clockwise, whereas normally in mathematics the angle rotates counterclockwise, which all makes this a very complex expression. And if you want some more explanation on what it actually does and how it works, I will make a separate video on that, and yeah, you can go watch that. Anyhow, for now we're just going to accept that this is the way it is, and as you can see it does work. All we need to do now is feather out our sweeper a little bit, so let's say about 100 pixels. So it becomes a little blurred. Let's make it somewhat transparent so that we can see what's underneath it. Something like that. And then change the color because we do want that. We're going to once again do that with the curves because that's why we made it gray. So might as well use it. Yeah, let's make it some kind of blue, but not the same blue that we had before. So we want, oh, this is actually a nice blue. Let's see if we can make something else with that. Yeah, that's not what I want. This actually is not bad. Let's at least take the red out a little bit so that it becomes more of a violent blue. That is good. So yeah, this is kind of the color I was looking for. Let's see if we can boost it even more. Maybe put a little bit of green in it. Yeah, that looks good. So yeah, it's totally different from what I had in the other one. And you can see that the spaceship will also update its position over time. At least I'm hoping. I did modify that, right? So yeah, it should. Yeah, it's just really slow. That's the problem. Let's move it forward a little bit so we can actually see what's happening. Yeah, because we have so many scans going, because the rotation rate is so high, it will actually just look, well, like it's standing still. But now you can see that it's definitely moving and the radar is working perfectly. Also, by the way, if you're updating one of the other values, so let's say you want your sweeper to be, instead of 90%, you want it to be 80%, and it will still work. There you go. And let's say if you want, let's put this back to 90. Let's say you wanted to have the start angle at something different, because I made the start angle at 40 or 36 because of the way that lined up. But let's say you wanted to put it over at the other side. We're going to go to the start angle, I guess. Oh, we can just hit U. Never mind. Yeah, so let's say we wanted to have 180 more, so 180 plus 180. There you go. So it's now starting on the other side, and it will still work. It's no problem. Now, let's say you wanted to make a quicker one. So let's say we wanted 720 here, which is really fast, by the way. But let's say we want that. Yeah, here it will still work. It's no problem. The algorithm will work with whatever settings you use, and that is because, well, it's programmed to work with everything else. And that is the beauty of expressions. The big disadvantage, as I said, is that there are a lot of, well, circumstances you have to keep track of, such as the XY configuration, things like that. Anyhow, if we duplicate this spaceship, and we want to make a new one, we can actually do that as well. So we can just make a new one, and let's just create a new layer. Never mind. I'm not going to copy it, duplicate it. Just new shape layer, sorry, not shape layer, new solid. Once again, the gray will do fine, and we're going to make a second spaceship. This one is going to be, let's say like this. I don't really know what I'm designing here, but yeah, it'll fly, you'll see. Yeah, let's make it a V-tail. Just as long as there's detail in it, normally it doesn't really matter what you make. I'm not going to make this one symmetrical because, well, it's hard to do. So, didn't want that. There you go. As I said, I'm sure you can make much, much better things. We're going to once again pre-compose this. And we're going to move all attributes to a new composition. We do this because then you can modify your spaceship without having to mess around with all of this. You can just double click it and you will be there. Let me rename it first to space. That's not a P. Spaceship 2. There you go. So Spaceship 2, you can, as I said, double click it to open it. You can modify anything you want here. So if you wanted to add an extra layer on this, let's make a new layer. Solid. Let's make it dark gray. And you wanted to add some detail to it. Yeah, let's just start off by making, I don't know, this, and then we can draw something on here, something like that, and something over here. Then you don't have to mess around with all that stuff in your original composition. We're just going to go to the composition and you can see it's just there. Also, scaling now is really easy because all the layers will scale equally. And this is a bigger ship. It's going to be 12% and it's going to come in from a different direction, obviously, because, well, need to demonstrate that the algorithm actually works. And let's hit the P for position, set a point at time 0, where we are now, and then set a time at, or a point at, well, just into the future. Normally, I would advise you to make these things move very slowly across the radar, because the radar is supposed to be really, really, really big, especially in space, but also for boats and things like that. Radar can see like many, many kilometers ahead, and that means that if you make them move from like the one side to the other side in a few seconds, this would be astronomical speed. And this being a space thing, that means that, well, in space you could make a virtually infinite radar, assuming that you had the technology to actually do that. But yeah, there's nothing blocking the radar. As you can see, it's not updating yet. Also, it has no color. So first of all, if we want the same color as the other one, just go to your other spaceship and just copy the curves out of it and just paste it in this. By the way, I have two spaceships, one, which is not really what I intended to do, but hey, I'll work with it. I actually intended to replace this one with the other one, but yeah, we're not going to do that. We're now going to just put it over here, put it outside of the radar. No, we can't actually put it outside of the radar. Yeah, we still need to fix that. I'll put it outside just to show you what the problem is. I guess it's not really a problem because well, radars can work in any way that you want them to. There you go, going to the exact spot where this is lit up, which is the end position, and then setting the new end position, because otherwise they collide and that would be less pretty. Actually, that was the wrong spaceship that I just did. This one ends here. So I don't know where it is exactly. It is over here. And then we're going to set the position to, I don't know, there, and then down. Let's put it over there. So yeah, another spaceship flying through space, and now we have to copy the expression. So just hit T for opacity, click the little arrow here, and then your expression is over here, which is huge, but it's all good. You can also just go to edit, by the way, copy expression only. I don't know why it doesn't work on these things. I'm assuming in newer version it will work, but just copy it and then go to the transparency one here, or opacity one. Alt click on the stopwatch and then Control V. Yeah, and yes, it is there. There it is. So it's quite big, but hey, it will have to do like that. Just click outside somewhere, and now it should be on all of the spaceships. So let's see if it actually works. So it detects the one, it detects the second one. It doesn't detect the third one yet. I don't know where the third one is even. I really don't know what happened, but I changed nothing and now it does work. So I was looking for the error. I was like, this is supposed to work, but it didn't. And then all of a sudden it did. So you can see that all three of the spaceships, they get detected. And yeah, we can make other effects, of course. We can make sound effects with it. We can also just brighten them up more if we detect them. We can keep track of them. We can do whatever, but that is for next time. I hope this helped you with whatever you're trying to create, and well, this will go on forever, by the way. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I will see you next time.